What else? Any other tips? How do you find the good stuff?
Well, okay, if you can usually reverse image search the house, then you can look at the like house listing. Okay.
Hi there. I'm excited to do a short little project today that actually does not require your sewing machine, just some hand sewing. And some hot glue is optional, actually. As you might know, my daughter Layla and I, you know Layla, she edits my videos and she's my podcast co-host. She worked in estate sales for a while, and even though now she doesn't work there anymore, she works for the art studio, we still love going to estate sales. And one of my recent estate sale finds was this box of hankies. Aren't they cute? All these vintage hankies. He cut me a good deal. Friends and family discount, even though she doesn't work there anymore. And so I plan to incorporate these into some kind of quilt or different projects along the road. But I also recently saw, it's like dust in my house. I recently saw some photos of these cute handkerchief hair bows. Aren't these cute? And so I was like, oh, this is fun for this one with the cute scalloped border. But it would also be really fun to use because I also have acquired some silk scarves and things from these sales. And my other daughter, Natalie, kind of likes to tie like scarves in her hair sometimes. And I thought these would be fun. But I also think they would make really, really cute hair bows. And also handkerchiefs. Or not handkerchiefs. What are these called? Bandanas. I don't have like the traditional style, but this one is a bandana. So I'm going to show you how to make these bows with 3 different size accessories. I'm Nikki, this is Pin Cut Sew. This video will not only be about hair bow making, I'm also going to talk a little bit about estate sales, and I'm going to have Layla come on at the end because I think it'd be really fun for you to finally have a face with a name, maybe if you haven't seen like the photos pop up. And also, she, at the last estate sale, she got this cool journal. She likes stuff like this. It has like some postcards inside. This is an anniversary card. Everything in here is written in French, which she is attempting to learn on her own actually, so she could actually read a few words. She just loves this kind of stuff, but we started going through it and figured out that this was somebody's sewing journal. It's not all filled in, but she has like some examples of some hand stitches here with a swatch and then the label, which she made in fancy letters, of course. And so it's just so sweet. And then I was looking at this notebook and I was like, wow, that would be a very cool sewing journal style. I might actually work with my printer guy to manufacture some of these. What do you guys think? Let me know what you think about that idea in the comments. I like that it has the plain pink on one side and then the graph paper on the other. I don't know if you can see that. I can't tell if it's focusing. But I think this would be so cool as a sewing journal. But anyway, inside of here was this sheet of paper about how to make a hanky baby bonnet. So after we make the hair bows, I'll read this little poem to you and I'm gonna maybe try to make one of these. I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, let's get started on the bows. Okay, so all we need to make these is really just the materials that you see here and some hair clips. I also have a hot glue gun because the easiest way to attach the clip is with a hot glue gun and a scrap of felt. So I'm gonna show you that method. I actually don't want to glue onto this hanky though, because I might have a different plan for it, but I have no problem gluing on this one. If you have a hanky like that and you don't want to put hot glue, then I'll tell you what you could do instead. Okay, I had to take a phone call. As I was saying, the first thing we need to do is turn this into like a strip shape. So no matter what size, it's a little bit more challenging with the hanky. So this bandana size though is really easy and perfect. So first we're gonna fold it diagonally, and then you kind of have to gauge and judge what's gonna work best. So if you fold it in half this way, and then in this case, I folded it in thirds. You just need an easy enough strip to be able to flip over onto itself. Okay, so once you have this, I like to mark the center. So my strip is 22 inches long. So at the 11-inch mark, I'm just going to use my, what is this called? Boning tool? No. Anyway, whatever this is, or whatever you have, to just sort of make a mark so I can see that. So then I'm going to fold in my ends like this. And before I do anything else, I want to sort of scrunch and make sure I like the proportions of it. So this would probably be perfect. In some cases, it looks better on this side or this side. You can sort of decide. Okay, so then I'm gonna make sure my crisscrosses are even, and I'm going to continue my mark on down here. So now I have this line. This doesn't actually make a mark. It's just a tool that makes a line that you don't have to get rid of later. Now I'm gonna find some matching thread, thread a needle, snip the end short, get my thimble. Okay, and I'm going to start at the bottom on my line. I find it easier to leave it down here on the table than to pick it up right now. Making sure I'm going through all of the layers. I said that and then I went ahead and picked it up. I have a loop. Get out of here. I'm going to just make a few large stitches. These don't need to be like tiny gathering stitches, because you're also trying to get so many layers that they can't really be very tiny. And you're gonna gather it up in a minute and wrap it. Continuing up my line to the top. So now we have this. Now we're going to scrunch like so. Scrunch and pinch. And then I'm going to wrap. I'm gonna kind of get my ends out of the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Arrange the bow so it's pretty. Frip it, pull it tight, and make a knot back here. One more for good measure. And there's my cute bow. I'm gonna cut off these scraggly ends. I can't remember where this bandana came from. I'm sure though that it was an estate sale. Isn't that cute? I feel like now that I've made, because I've played around with all these sizes, and I think the bandana size is my favorite. Okay, so this is how I like to attach the hair clip. Your inclination is probably just to simply glue it on, but sometimes they come off because the shiny metal against the fabric, the glue just sometimes peels off of the shiny metal. I don't know if it's a heat thing or what. So the method I've always used is to just cut a small piece of felt, and then I am going to glue this first. See if my glue gun is heated up. Make sure I glue it from so I can use it with my right hand. If you're a lefty, you might do different. But then I like to take this piece of felt and glue it down on top of the claw, if that makes sense. I might make it a tad smaller. If you look at the hair bows you've bought from the store, you might notice this is how usually store-bought clips are attached. These clips can be so fussy. What if I held it open with this? There we go. Then I can get this in there. Before it dries, maybe not. There we go. And then you're going to glue the felt to the fabric. So now the clip is nice and secure. Perfect. Wouldn't this be cute for July 4th? Or any of our, or Christmas. Look, it has green. Okay, let's make one out of one of these scarves. I think I was playing with this one. I found that these ones with borders look really pretty in the bows. So let's see. I'm going to remove this tag, or can I just make sure it gets, yeah, I'm gonna make sure the tag is on the inside. Maybe I'll do both. We're gonna do the same thing. The only difference will be how far in we put the ends of the bow. So I'm still going to create a strip. I like to fold this down halfway. Also want to make sure your corners look nice. And then I'm going to fold it again in thirds. The bigger your piece of fabric, the bigger you can make, the wider you can make your strip. Okay, and then I'm going to fold this in. Oops, I forgot to mark my center. Let's see, this time my piece is 30 inches. So I'm going to mark at the 15. I'm going to turn in and turn in. In this case, I'm going to make the ends a little longer because I noticed when I made this part too long, they flopped. So I'm going to give it a test scrunch. Looks good. I think that one's a little longer. Let me continue down my line. Why do I keep losing that? Here it is. And thread my needle. All right, carefully turn it and start gathering. This one will be pretty easy to gather because it's so silky. It's also easier to fall apart while you work with it though, I've noticed. But I can always take it out and redo if I mess it up. Scrunch, test. This one I think looks really cute on this side too. And wrap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So cute. Let me make a knot. Okay, now let's talk about options for if we do not want to hot glue onto our silk scarf. This one's not silk, but I have other ones here that are. And like for this hanky, I don't know if I want to ruin it with hot glue. So what we could do is use a hair tie instead of a clip and just hand stitch it on. Or we can use the clip, but let me get a piece of felt. Let's cut a little bigger strip of felt for starters. And what we can do is hand stitch the felt almost like a pocket for the clip. So before cutting my thread, I could just go ahead and stitch this on, go through the bow to the other side, and whip stitch it to this side too. So now if you ever want this to go back to being a scarf instead of a hair bow, you can simply carefully cut your stitches and remove the clip. Okay, that wasn't the neatest, but that's okay. Gosh, I think I'm hungry. I feel a little shaky. So that works just as well. The clip is a little bit more wobbly, obviously, but it will still clip into the hair just fine. Okay, so actually I should have put the clip going that way for a right-handed person. This way, so when I turn it over, I can clip it like this. Yeah, well, that's okay. Note for yourself when you try it. Put your clip on the right direction. Okay, so far so cute. Okay, let me show you an up-close shot of this journal we found with the instructions. Where did I put them? Oh, Nikki. Oh, here they are. Okay. It was tucked in here with this picture. It says, I'm just a little hanky, as square can be, but with a stitch or two, they made a bonnet out of me. I'll be worn from the hospital or on the christening day, then I'll be carefully pressed and neatly packed away. On her wedding day, so I've been told, every well-dressed bride must have something old. What would be nicer than to find little me, a few stitches snipped, and a wedding hanky I'll be. If perchance it is a boy, someday he will surely wed, so to his bride he can present the hanky that once adorned his head. Isn't that just the sweetest? I don't know if I'm able to make this because I don't understand what the instructions are saying. It says, set handkerchief to make bonnet. Fold the square up to the lace in half. This makes me wonder if it came with a specific handkerchief that had lace on it. Then stitch. Gather the end and put satin ribbon bow on top and 2 ribbons to tie. I don't know. I don't get it. But you know who might get it is one of you, because maybe someone remembers this. Does anybody remember this? Did you have one of these or make one of these? Was this a common thing back when this was made? This makes me think that this was like the 70s maybe? I don't know. You guys chime in the comments, tell me what you think, and also tell me what you think of this bow idea, and if you make some, we'd love to see. But I'm gonna go get Layla so we can tell you our best tips for estate sailing. We just spent like 5 minutes trying to make ourselves look nice in this light, and it's not happening, so
I think it's happening.
it's okay.
It's okay.
This is Layla.
Hi!
You already know her, I feel like, but now you know what she looks like. So Layla is gonna tell us her best tips for estate sale shopping.
That was the question?
Yeah.
Okay, that was really
That's
broad.
why you're here.
For
Oh wait, Layla
shopping.
first.
Oh.
Look what we made.
Cutie!
Hair bows. This one.
Wait.
I have more scarves if you want to pick some. I'll make you some.
I actually have a scarf that I want.
Or you can watch the tutorial and make them yourself.
I'll let you make them. I'll let you do that. Wait, this is so like OG Pink Cut So Core.
So Layla, you're a Gen Zer, so
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm interrupting the estate sale conversation.
It's okay.
But you know, I'm an elder millennial. I consider myself like a cusper. I was born in 1981, so you know, in our 20s, we were all doing the high up messy buns. Mm-hmm. Now it seems like, tell me if I'm wrong, the messy buns are no longer in, and it's a low bun that is like classy and chic.
Not a low bun, no. I think
You don't think?
Just like no, I think it's like it's not messy here. Like it's like slick back, like with a sharp part. Slicked back, but then the bun is still kind of messy.
Yeah, but it's not like high up here. It's like down here.
Oh no, it's not like on the top of your head.
I mean, it's like down here. This is what I was thinking when I made these bows, because I could like put the cute bow like here.
See? Yeah, that's very cute.
That's what I was thinking.
Anyway. Sorry, when you make mine, can you make it a right-handed bow?
Yeah, see, we discussed this on the video. I did it wrong.
Yeah, because I was gonna put it in my hair, and then I was like, oh shoot, I can't.
I did it wrong.
That's okay.
Okay, Layla. We decided 2 summers ago was our summer of estate sales, and now it's become our hobby.
Yeah.
What do you look for at estate sales?
Okay, wait, can I think about it? You didn't prep me with any of this.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. Okay, I go into estate sales looking Well, I keep a list on my Notion. I have a running list of things I'm always looking for at estate sales.
That's a good tip.
And I have a Pinterest board. So
also a good tip.
There's like specific things I usually look for, but when I'm like looking at the houses at the photos of the houses on the website, I like take note, like, because I usually look for art supplies, but this kind of applies to sewing too. If somebody has a tube of paint laying around or like a few canvases, they're gonna have other art stuff, you know?
Right.
So like if you see some fabric scissors, they're probably gonna have fabric somewhere.
Yeah, because they do take a lot of pictures, but not of everything.
No, a lot of places take pictures of furniture because it's more expensive. So like
they also sometimes take the pictures before they ever get into like the basement and garage boxes.
Yeah. So, and when somebody tries a hobby and it doesn't work, and then they just put everything in the basement. So that's where you want to look for the hobby supplies.
We went to this one that had more yarn than anything I've ever, like it was a yarn store. And he was selling it like $5 for a bag you could fill. Yeah. Something crazy like that.
It was insane.
I got my friend a bunch of it. Yeah, that's a really good tip. Also, you mentioned a little bit, but how do you find the estate sales?
Okay, so I do estatesales.net. Don't do estatesales.org. It's harder to look at. But .net, and then you can like, I put my zip code in, and then you can make a circle around like, what is it called?
A radius.
A radius for how many miles you're willing to drive.
We're willing to drive 30.
We've driven an hour and a half before.
I just started following one in Elizabethtown, an estate sale lady in Elizabethtown. I think it's just like a teeny bit outside your
I need to
miles
expand
maybe.
Then.
Okay, yeah. So what I like to do is also once you find the estate sale companies in your area, because most estate sales, I didn't know this before Layla worked there, but I always thought the families sold the stuff. But no, they hire a company to do it. And like here in our city, there's like 4 common companies that people hire. So if you go follow those companies on Facebook or go to their websites occasionally, they post the new sales.
Yeah. And then you kind of know which ones are like, they're going to price this really cheap, you know?
That's true. And you also know which ones are more willing to haggle. Speaking of haggling, what are your thoughts on haggling at estate sales?
I think it's different for haggling furniture. I think if you're going there, when I worked for an estate sale company, sometimes people would come in and be like, I'll take all the mahogany furniture off your hands at a discount. And usually like, you just kind of want to get, you know, furniture's hard to sell. So just get it all gone.
He'll say yes to that?
Typically, yeah. Like if you're buying something in bulk, but if you're buying like 2 yards of fabric for $4 and you want it for $3, like that's ridiculous. I feel like, if you're buying a lot of something, usually someone will.
Because you also have to remember that the money they're trying to get as much money for the bereaved family. Usually it's a bereaved family. Sometimes people do have estate sales when they're still alive, but most of the time they're trying to get as much money for the bereaved family as possible. So haggling on day 1, tell them about the sales days.
Okay, so most places do 3-day estate sales, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday obviously is opening, so that's when everyone like lines up outside. You get in first, you get all your stuff in the hold shelf. So typically most places won't discount the whole house that day, but discounts, most of the time by Sunday, discounts will go 50%, 25%, whatever.
Yeah.
And it'll just be more normal to haggle on a Sunday because it's the last day that they can get rid of stuff.
And then sometimes they'll have like a fill a bag sale, or even one time there was like everything left is free. It's in the garage. Come get it.
Yeah.
I feel like we've been in lines with people who are just being so ridiculous. I think you have to think of it like, okay, yard sale, Goodwill, those are super, super cheap.
Yeah.
Antique store, you're going to pay a lot more. Estate sales are in the middle. Usually also the estate sale owners, they know what they have. They understand what things are worth, probably more than you do. And it's usually priced pretty fairly, I think. When I saw that Singer featherweight, because I got my featherweight at an estate sale, I just put in my mind, what am I willing to pay for this? I didn't tell him that, but it was unpriced. And he said, that'll cost you $100. And I was already willing to pay a few $100. So I got it for a steal in my mind. I didn't try to be like, he probably doesn't even know what this is worth, so why is he selling it for $100? I don't know. We've seen some people be real crazy.
Yeah, so if you're going up, like having a number in mind is good. If you have like I just bought a painting and I was like, okay, I want to pay $30 for this painting, but like no more. Or ask an employee before you get in line, what do you think this would be? So you're not like at the register and there's a line.
Yeah,
and people are like, 'cause there's usually lines out the doors, especially on Fridays. So it's like, be as prepared as you can to go to the register, I would say.
Yeah, that's a good tip. What else? Any other tips? How do you find the good stuff?
Well, okay, if you can usually reverse image search the house, so then you can look at the like house listing. Okay, because most of the houses go on the market, so you can look at the house listing photos if they haven't put. Because I always want like full room pictures And a lot of companies don't do that, but I want to look at the whole room to see what they have in there. So you can usually find like the house listing and you can see more in there. Sometimes they'll have like the walkthrough thing, so you can like walk through the whole house.
True.
Never skip the basement.
Never skip the basement.
Don't skip the
Never
basement.
skip closets, unless of course they're not open to the public. But yeah, we found some pretty darn good stuff. Open the boxes, open the trunks, open the like files of papers. You might find art in there. That one is removable, so you don't have to ruin
I just
it
switched
with
it.
the glue.
Oh no, I didn't.
Wait, she's playing with the bow.
Sorry, I just got really.
Okay, also another tip of estate sale etiquette. Oh, it was on the tip of my tongue. What was it?
Oh, if the toilet is blocked, if the door to the bathroom is blocked off, don't use the bathroom.
Yeah.
Don't use the bathroom. Like, we had a room flood one time because someone took a dump.
I think every time they have a guy go in there immediately. And
Yeah, some dude.
do his daily constitution in the bathroom.
Anyway, sorry, that probably wasn't your tip.
What else?
I don't know.
Oh, estate sales do not like it when they put all of the information that you need to know in the post, and then you ask them questions anyway, like, can you sell this to me before the sale? I think you got that one.
Yeah, you can't, like, most estate sale companies, unless they have an early opening for, like, their members, which is, don't even get me started. But
Oh, there's one of those tomorrow, and I kind of want to go.
Oh.
I'll show it to you after.
Yeah, you have to show it to me. But, like, most of the time, you can't buy ahead. Most of the time, you can call when the sale opens.
Yeah.
You can call the number. Although, in my opinion, that is also kind of annoying.
You know what I think is annoying?
But, you know.
When people come and they immediately put something on the hold shelf and then they leave it there for the whole day.
Yeah, we usually
Like,
wipe
if
the
you
whole
put something
shelf,
on the
like-
hold shelf, it's because you can't carry it around the house with you. Not because you want to come back later in case you want it.
Yeah.
Like that H-frame. Oh, this one has an H-frame easel. That's why I wanted to
It
go.
does. Well, she actually did buy it. I heard her asking.
She did?
Yeah, I heard her asking the lady if she can bring her car up. So it was a
Okay, nice.
pregnant
I'm glad
mom. I
someone
was
bought
like,
that.
okay, never
That
mind.
just made
We're
me
good.
think of it though, because there was this other time where you guys had people fighting about something. Someone had left it there all day and Ray sold it to somebody else, and the person
Yeah.
came back and got really
Well,
mad.
it was like this like wicker chest, and someone had took the price sticker off, which is usually like, oh,
a sign that I'm buying this.
I'm buying this, but then he left and then came back and said, well, I have the price tag. And we were like, but you left. Like, we sold
And you
it to
didn't
somebody
put it on the
else.
whole
And you
shelf?
didn't, like, yeah, it was weird.
Oh, my tip also, because some people get there they'll get there like an hour before the estate sale is starting, because there's usually a line, especially for the sales that are going to be good, and they start handing out numbers and they only let a certain number of people in at a time, you know. So people line up, and I do not like to get there that early. There was only one time I did that, and it was for a Star Wars game for my husband. But I don't like it because people make a beeline for like the vinyl and the games and whatever it is they're looking for, and you can't look at anything anyway, and it just feels like crowded and claustrophobic. So we always try to like,
we leave when it opens usually.
yeah,
So then
if
we're
the
there about
estate sale is
half hour.
opening at 9, we just leave the house at 9, and by the time we get there, the crazies have cleared.
Yeah, and usually the stuff we're going for isn't.
Yeah,
I feel like
that's
there
true.
hasn't been a sale that we've been, oh, I really want to get this one thing.
Except for that Star Wars game.
Except for that Star Wars game. But also, I think I was working that sale anyway, so.
And Leslie hid it
I'll
for
tell.
me too.
Yeah.
They hid it for me.
We had a little inside scoop.
I think that's all. We just think it's fun because now we have this house full of really eclectic things that are like, they tell stories.
Yeah. Well, look at the mantle. Here, scoot your head.
Yeah, I feel
That
like
mantle clock. we got
Oh
from
yeah,
the
that
States.
clock and those flowers.
And the flowers,
The flower
yeah.
candle holders.
And the Butchertown sign.
Yeah, that Butchertown sign is a special Louisville thing. There's a part of town called Butchertown, and that's a really old sign.
Oh, also, if you're on estates, okay, going back to estate sales.
Okay.
If you are on estatesales.net and you see the term picker sale, a picker sale is when there's a lot of small things. So there's furniture sales, which nobody really specifies, but that's kind of the other section. But a picker sale is when there's like, you're picking through stuff.
It's
usually.
junk.
Yeah,
They're fun.
it's more small stuff. So like I feel like that's where a lot of notions are. Like I was thinking about like fabric.
Yeah, and also like
Yeah.
we found the teacups there.
Yeah. So if you're looking for smaller things and you see picker sale, that's kind of what that means. It's like
Layla got
picking through.
really, really expensive watercolor paper at an estate sale.
it
the
was
other
like
day.
$250 worth of paper, and he gave
got
it to me
it
for like
for $9 a
25.
pop, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you know your crafts,
you know.
yeah, that's fun. So we don't go to every estate sale if it just looks like a ritzy furniture house. Yeah, it's not really for us. Although we do have furniture from estate sales that is some of our nicest stuff because it's real wood. It's hard to buy real wood at those prices nowadays. All right, Layla, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
You can hear her coming up soon on the next podcast episode on July 7th.
July 7th.
Yeah, but I'll see you before that. Bye.
Bye.
We're about to film a part of this video.
What?
We're just gonna